Hey Southwest Region, we are here with another QRT. Today, very exciting, we're talking with Evan Kline from the East Memphis team. And you are at what in career sales now?
I'm at a little bit over 50, so about 51 in career sales.
Okay, 51 grand. And were you number one for the push week?
I was number one for the push week.
So a little over 2 weeks, and how much did you sell?
I sold about 21,425.
Just about. 21,425.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, why don't we start with some tips? So let's say push week obviously starts with the phone.
Definitely.
So what would you say would be some good phone tips?
Definitely. I'd say for the phone, the biggest tip is you just got to do it. You know, it's not the easiest part of the job, but once your demo's booked, then the product sells itself. And you just got to help, people get the product. But with the phone, first of all, what I always do is get all my recs on the computer. I started last year, and it really helped me a lot because, I had 150 recs waiting for me this summer. I didn't have to go through papers or anything like that, opened a document, there everything was. And I even had information from when I talked to people last summer, that they said call them back, stuff like that. So the first tip is definitely to get all your recs on the computer. I put them in an Excel document, and even when I talk to people, leave messages, what they say on the phone when they call back, I put all of that actually on my computer. So that's a huge tip, just to be organized with your leads. And also, you'll see people that will have, certain people you'll see will be recommended by 3 or 4 people. So you want to make sure you only call them once, and you have all those people's names together with that one recommendation. So with the phone, what I always do when I'm on the phone is definitely you got to smile. That's the biggest thing. When you're making the calls, just be happy. So I'll just kind of do like a practice call with Amy. So
okay. Hello.
Hey, Amy.
Yes.
Hey, Amy. This is Evan Kline. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, and my name probably doesn't ring a bell, but I'm a friend of Paula Johnson. Did Paula tell you that I'd be calling you?
I don't think so.
That's okay. Well, she said I'd probably get to you before she did. But I'm actually calling because Paula told me that you would probably help me out with something I'm doing for school.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So I actually go to school up in D.C. I go to the George Washington University, and I came home this summer because I got a really great job to build up my resume.
Okay.
And actually through the company, I can earn a really big scholarship for school as well, which is really cool.
Cool.
Cool. So basically all my assignment is to show people a product. It's actually called Cutco. It's just some nice stuff for your kitchen. And when you say Cutco, the biggest thing is to not pause. After, don't ask, have you heard of it, anything like that. Don't give time for an objection. Okay. So it's called Cutco. And the cool thing is I actually, I'm working really hard for this scholarship for school. And when I was at Paula's house the other day, she said that you were really, really nice and that you probably would be nice enough to help me out since I'm working so hard for the scholarship. So I'm actually free tomorrow at 2 p.m. and Thursday at 5 p.m. Which time works better for you?
Thursday. Okay,
awesome. So so Thursday at 5 p.m. Would you mind getting a pen and a piece of paper for me?
Sure.
Awesome. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, cool. So first, my name is Evan. Spell out your name, and my last name is Kline. Spell that out. I have our appointment confirmed for Thursday at 5 p.m. And this is really important. If you wouldn't mind writing down my scholarship number,
okay.
Just in case my manager calls to confirm our appointment, here's my scholarship number.
Okay.
Give them some numbers.
Give your rep number.
Exactly. Give your rep number. And by doing that, you're making sure that they're writing it down. After that, let them know. Say, would you mind repeating that for me? I want to make sure you got it right.
Okay.
So you know for sure they wrote it down.
Right.
So that's the biggest tip. It really gets rid of no-shows and stuff like that. And after I firm up the demo, you want to make sure you ask them, do you do all the cooking, or does your husband cook with you as well?
We both do.
You both do? Okay, awesome. So do you think he'd be interested in seeing Cutco as well?
I have no idea.
Okay, awesome. So...
Sorry. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he'd be interested, but, I mean, if I need to have him here, I guess I can ask.
Definitely. On the phone, you can tell. Sometimes the wife will say, I never cook. You don't want to see her alone if she never cooks. If her husband does. So then from there, kind of readjust. Say, I actually, would love to meet with both of y'all together. And at the end, when you're firming it up, just make sure you tell them what I'll be showing you today. It's a product called Cutco. It's a really high-quality stuff for your kitchen. And Paula really liked the product, and she thought we just enjoy meeting each other as well.
Cool.
So really, you firmed it up there. So the biggest thing after you firm it up is you have it booked and stuff. So you're done with that. So now I'm just going to kind of go into the demo a little bit more, my actual demo. So when I get to people's homes, this is something that helped me out a lot, is when I go there, go into their kitchen, sit down in the chair, and don't say a word about Cutco. Put all my stuff down on the ground and just talk. I try to build a rapport for at least 10 to 15 minutes about anything. Talk about them, their life, their family, where they're from, and then talk about me, everything. You should build at least 10 minutes of rapport with your customers unless they're in a huge rush. But just because you want people to trust you and be comfortable with you, that helped me a lot. So then they'll probably ask you, and I know what they do for me is my customer will say, hey, so what are you here to show me? Then I bring it out. And that's really the biggest part, is making them comfortable with me and with my demo, so that when I show them the product, they're a lot more open to what I'm saying.
Okay. So any tips on, is there anything you do during the demo, outside of just, following the manual, obviously,
Definitely.
but that you think either adds to your sales or adds to the amount of leads that you get later, or any of that kind of stuff?
So before I even open my Blue Book, I would say this. Hey, Mrs. Johnson, as you know, when I'm here to show you is Cutco, but my main job isn't to sell you Cutco, it's to show you Cutco. My real job is just for you to like me and my presentation enough to hopefully introduce me to some of your friends. Everyone I meet is personally introduced to me. It's really awesome. I love meeting new people, so hopefully you like me and my presentation enough to do that. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to open up the presentation. It's actually split into 3 parts. First, I'm going to share some personal goals. Then I'm going to tell you about the company. And then I'll show you our sets. By doing that, people really are ready for each section. It's not like, when is this thing going to end? It's, they know I'm sharing my goals. Then I tell them about the company. And then when they hear sets, it's an initial reaction that we sell sets. We don't sell individual pieces. From the beginning, I'm setting, the mark that I'm showing you sets of Cutco. So then it's, from there, the foundation is laid. So that really helps me a lot, because, people are more excited about it because they know it's 3 parts. And sharing goals is huge. Chelsea Bakes really helped me out a lot with that. She really, set my tone in my demo to share goals. First, what I do is I tell them about my goals, basically, for selling, tell them about the scholarship, tell them about my past successes, and I tell them that I'm working so hard to try to earn some good money for school.
So let me ask you this. You seem like a pretty fun guy,
yeah.
Honestly. You're pretty energetic. So is there anything you do specifically just to make the demo more fun?
Definitely. So there are a few things. First of all, when you're telling about the $1,000 shopping spree, always ask your customer to say, you got to make a deal with me. If you win it, you'll split it with me. And they always love it. I don't know. They always laugh. It's just, lightens up the mood a little bit. And it's like, I would love some free Cutco. It shows how much I love the product. Another thing is bring food. That's huge. What I always bring is at least a pineapple. It's about $4. It's a good investment in your demo. What I do is I get the butcher knife, and I call it the melon knife. I slice the top and the bottom off, then get the slicer and slice and get that perfect circle, and it slides right out. And because the butcher knife and the slicer are 2 pieces that some people wouldn't necessarily see themselves using as much in the homemaker set. So by doing that, they really see how much they'd be using these pieces.
Right.
And I always have fun with my customers. I tell them personal stories about the demo and about my past customers, and it really relates home. And another thing you should always do, even if you don't cook that much, is tell them how much you and your family use this Cutco. Tell them, this is what my mom uses this for. This is what I use this for. I love this piece because of that. And you really show them, how you use it in your house. When presenting the actual sets and the pieces, I always go, here's your paring knife and your set, stuff like that. It's all theirs.
That's the wording.
This is what you'll be using to do this. And ask a lot of questions. Do you ever eat salad?
All the time.
Do you ever eat vegetables?
All the time.
Do you ever eat fruit?
All the time.
Do you like tomatoes?
Yes.
Awesome. Do you like to cook?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do you cook a lot?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. You'll love your set of Cutco.
I do love my set of Cutco.
I know, me too. Me too.
So last couple questions. How much time do we have, by the way?
We got 2 more minutes.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel, the guy behind the camera. Doing such a great job. So, couple quick questions then. One is, I guess, what do you think were the most helpful tools for you developing as a rep? So, what helped you learn the most or improve the most, that kind of stuff?
I would say the biggest tips for improving myself and my demo is just practice. In the beginning, we all start off, we have our books and we read right out of it. Challenge yourself. Try to incorporate things into your demo that you've never done, and try to not read out of the book. After a few months on the job selling Cutco, I stopped opening the book. I know every single piece, what they're used for, stuff like that, all up here. And by really showing my customers I know my product, they want to buy it more. If I have to look in the book about what the uses of a trimmer is, why are they going to buy that? I'm going to say at my house, I use a trimmer for my apples, oranges, and smaller fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Stuff like that. So I really can show them how much I use it. And another thing with advancing yourself in your demo is scheduling. I use a computer for everything. As I said, I put all my recs on the computer, and I leave messages when I make calls. I probably booked about 5 to 6 demos from callbacks that I called people. So the awesome thing is when somebody calls you back, they're expecting that you know who they are. You shouldn't be like, hey, who is this? So what I do is, especially when I have my computer out, if I get a call back, since all my numbers are on my computer, all I have to do is do Control F, type in a few digits of the number, boom. Hey, Mrs. Jones, it's Evan Kline, how are you?
Right. Talk to your friend Sally.
Exactly.
Whatever it was.
So it's so much more comfortable than saying, hey, who is this?
So is there anybody else you usually learn from? Like, have you either cross-trained, field-trained, listened to audio files, gone to conferences, anything
Definitely.
like that?
Top FSM helped me out a lot. Didn't watch a whole lot of videos, but that was a huge part in helping me increase sales. Another thing is the wish list. That's huge. This is a quote I always say during all my demos. After I show the sets, I tell my customers, hey, what I'm going to do now is make a wish list with you. It's not necessarily stuff you're going to get today, just stuff that you really like. I think customer service is really, really important. That's why I make a wish list. It doesn't make sense, but I make a wish list, and all they hear is customer service, so they're really happy to hear that. So it helps me.
No, it does make sense, because if you keep the list on file, if you put it in the Excel file, then later you'll already know what they like. Especially if you see a friend of theirs, they could even maybe purchase it as a gift for them if you're seeing someone and you're like, hey, Sally actually really liked this thing, but she didn't get it for herself yet. You could get it for her.
That's why Amy sold so much. So it's a good tip.
By the way, last question is, what do you like about being an FSM? Why should people strive to be FSMs?
Well, first of all, I'm at half. I had a huge push. I sold over $20,000 with the push at half. Nothing's better than making half of what you. You
basically made more in 2 weeks than most students make in the summer.
Most and a lot of my friends combined.
Right.
I worked hard, but being an FSM is definitely the top opportunity in Vector. You go to an appointment, you sell a trimmer or a petite carver. It didn't go so great. Exactly, you still made good money.
Right.
For me, it's like I'm not happy with this sales. I know you probably weren't either. But looking back at it, I made more than a lot of my friends did that hour. So it paid off.
Absolutely. Cool.
Definitely.
Any last tips before we end here? You've got about 30 seconds.
Selling Cutco, it can be hard at times. My first few days of the push were terrible. In my office, I was in the middle or last, but I kept on going. You may hit a home run the day before, but the game's today. So always, do your best, make the phone time, and have fun with your demo, and make people want to buy Cutco, and really just support us as students and people working hard towards our goals. So.
Awesome. Great tips. That was awesome stuff from Evan Kline once again. Keep your eye out for the next QRT. Thanks.
Hope it helped.